Let's talk about what it means to be a legend. Is it just pure talent? Is it an insane work ethic? Or is it all about the championships? Today, we're going to break down the anatomy of, well, arguably the greatest sports legend ever, Michael Jordan. And look, this isn't just my opinion. We're kicking things off with the official word from NBA.com itself. By acclamation. That means by unanimous vote. It's a huge statement, and over the next few minutes, we're going to dig into exactly why they can say that with so much confidence. So let's start right there with this massive claim, the greatest of all time. We're going to look at the story behind the icon because, trust me, the journey is every bit as legendary as the final destination. And you know, that journey did not start with a highlight reel dunk. Nope. It started with getting cut. To really understand the champion, you have to meet the kid who was told flat out that he just wasn't good enough. I mean, just look at this slide. The contrast is incredible. On one side, you've got the challenge. As a sophomore in high school, he gets cut from the varsity team. Why? They said he was too short at 5'11". Then you look at the other side, the triumph, hitting the game-winning shot to win the whole NCAA national championship. That doesn't just happen by accident. It happens because that failure lit an absolute fire inside him. And this image right here, this really says it all. His number 23 hanging forever in the rafters at UNC. It's a permanent reminder that the same kid who got cut from his high school team went on to become the undisputed hero of one of college basketball's greatest programs. So how in the world did he do it? Well, the summer after he got cut, he not only grew 4 inches, but he trained like an absolute maniac. And the results? They speak for themselves. By his senior year, he's a McDonald's All-American. Then, of course, there's that famous game-winning shot in '82, and by 1984, it wasn't even a debate. He was the best college player in the entire country. This is where the legend really began. All right, so he goes from college superstar to the pros, and this next chapter is all about the birth of a dynasty. But just like in high school, it started with him running straight into a brick wall. He just exploded onto the NBA scene. I mean, he was an immediate phenomenon. People started calling him Air Jordan because of these gravity-defying dunks. He became a global icon almost overnight. The talent was just off the charts, a superstar from day one. Which, of course, leads to the big question. Here's a guy winning scoring titles, MVP awards, but for years he just couldn't get his team to the promised land. So what was stopping him? Why couldn't he win? Well, the answer actually had a name. The Jordan Rules. And let me tell you, this wasn't just playing tough defense. This was an entire strategy cooked up by the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons to physically punish Jordan every single time he touched the basketball. The plan was simple. You stop number 23, you stop the Bulls. And it forced Jordan to evolve from just a one-man wrecking crew into a true leader. And for a while, man, it worked like a charm. Just look at this timeline. It's 3 straight years of frustration. 3 years in a row, Jordan and the Bulls ran into that Pistons wall and got sent packing. But Jordan didn't quit. He got stronger, he hit the weight room, and maybe most importantly, he started trusting his teammates. Then came 1991. Everything changed. The Bulls didn't just squeak by the Pistons, they annihilated them, swept them 4-0. The wall was officially torn down. So the takeaway here is huge. Beating the Pistons wasn't just about one series win. It was the key that unlocked the entire dynasty. Once his biggest rival was out of the way, Jordan led the Bulls to 3 straight championships, the first legendary three-peat. Okay, so he's at the absolute peak of his powers, 3 rings, top of the world, and then the story takes this shocking, tragic turn. This next part is about loss, a detour nobody saw coming, and one of the most iconic comebacks in sports history. Right after winning that 3rd title, Jordan's father, who he called his idol, his best friend, was tragically murdered. The emotional weight was just crushing. He said he'd lost his love for the game. And then, in a move that absolutely stunned the entire planet, he retired from basketball. So what did he do? He went to pursue a childhood dream that he and his dad had always talked about, playing professional baseball. Now, he wasn't a superstar on the baseball diamond, but this whole period was really about him healing and trying to find a new purpose after an unimaginable loss. But that competitive fire, it never really went out. And then, in March of 1995, a fax went out to the media with just 2 words on it. I'm back. That's it. That's all that needed to be said. Michael Jordan was coming back to the NBA. So he was back. But this final chapter, this wasn't just about a return. This was about taking his legacy from all-time great and elevating it to something, well, mythical. This was about sealing the legend for good. And if anybody had any questions about whether he still had it, yeah, those were answered immediately. In his very first full season back, Jordan led the Bulls to a 72-win season, which was an NBA record at the time. They weren't just good, they were historically, unbelievably dominant. And that regular season dominance, it carried right on through the playoffs. He led the Bulls to another 3 consecutive championships. This was the second three-peat, and it cemented his team as the undisputed dynasty of the entire decade. You know, his career is so packed with awards, they literally had to build a monument outside the Bulls arena just to list them all. But let's wrap this up by boiling it all down to a few simple numbers that really tell the story of his greatness.
First, the number that's all about winning, 6. He went to the NBA Finals 6 times, and he won 6 championships. He was perfect on the biggest stage in basketball.
Next up, let's talk about individual dominance. 10. He led the league in scoring 10 different times. That is a record that shows just relentless, unstoppable offensive skill for over a decade. And finally, the ultimate statistical trump card, 30.12. That was his scoring average for his entire career. To this day, it is the highest in the history of the NBA. Nobody ever has been better at consistently putting the ball in the basket. So that brings us right back to where we started. When you put it all together, the story of overcoming failure, the absolute dominance, the 2 separate three-peats, and the stats that nobody can touch, you're left with one last question. After Michael Jordan, is the debate for the greatest of all time even a debate anymore?
Kanalımıza abone olursanız seviniriz. Görüşmek üzere. Hoşça kalın.